Bob, welcome back to the cream of the crop. Oh, yeah, dig it. Fourth and 31 podcast, your one stop shop for all things college and SEC football. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a minute. And while we're at it, we'll take a few seconds, hit the subscribe. Only about 80% of you, actually 20% of you are subscribed, about 80% are not, if my Davidson math doesn't escape me. I'm your host, part of the Killer Bees broadcasting team, the Chad Bullock, along with the man, the myth, the legend, and the coach, Bo, and the producer, Scott. All right, this is it, Mob. This is the day we've all been waiting for. The championship game, University of Miami Hurricanes, Indiana, in the grudge match of all grudge matches. Probably one of the better games we'll have. And Miami actually has a de facto home game, as it will be playing at Hard Rock Stadium. And honestly, the matchup of the game, and I'll let you guys chime in on this, will be that Indiana offense against that stout Miami defense. Bro Deucer, what you got?
You led me right where I was going, man. I cannot wait to see this Indiana offense against that pass rush of Miami. That is going to be the most intriguing thing. Other side of the ball, Miami's offense against the Indiana defense, that's intriguing to me too. Miami's defense, Indiana's defense is it's like they know what's coming before. I've heard a lot of people mention, they got to be cheating. They got to be cheating. How do they know where the ball is going before it gets there? No. I think they're just that good. That's what I think. I think they study tape. I think those coaches have those guys ready to play. I think they dissect the other team before they get there on film and everything else. And I think they're just that good. Which leads me to my pick. For people that know me, I've already said it out loud. I'm taking Indiana, and I'm taking them big. I think they win by at least 2 scores minimum, 2 touchdowns. I say they win by at least 2 touchdowns. Now Miami is going to come out and they're going to give us all they got, and I do expect it to be close for at least 3.5 quarters. But I am picking Indiana to win by 2 touchdowns, 14 points at least. But man, I can't wait to see what these guys on this defensive line for Miami do, and see how if they can get to Mendoza. Can they get to him? That to me, that's going to be the tell, because I could be wrong. If they're able to maximize what they can do and do what they've done in the entire playoff, then Miami will possibly win the game or make it extremely close. I'm excited to see Michael Irvin on the sideline in distress. I'm excited about that. The possibility of that, because hell, we've seen him whip everything with a belt and go crazy on the sideline when they win. How's he handle this if they lose? I can't wait. An upset Michael Irvin, I'll take that. Give me that. That's my pick, and that's what I got for that game.
Yeah, and you make an interesting point. The one phase of the game that everybody's going to be watching is the Indiana offense, Miami defense, but Indiana's defense is actually pretty dang good.
Mm-hmm.
And Carson Beck ain't exactly the greatest quarterback in college football. He's been good. I'm not taking anything away from Beck. He's played good enough for them to win. But against this Indiana team, you cannot make mistakes. And if you can get Carson Beck into a mistake, that game's going to be over. Bo, what you got?
In 3 games in the playoffs, Carson Beck is 56 of 83. That's 69% completion percentage. 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. Very efficient. He hasn't had to do a ton in these games. Of course, the A&M game, you had a 20, 25 mile an hour wind blowing across the field. So the pass game for both teams was very negligible. That was more of a just kind of hunker down, use the run game, and just try to win it with the run game and the defense. Ohio State was a planned ball control type of thing. Where they really leaned on their fronts to control both lines of scrimmage and control the pace of play and limit possessions for Ohio State. Then against Ole Miss, he just absolutely flat out let it rip. Now, Mendoza is 31 of 36. That's 86% completions, 8 touchdowns, no interceptions in 2 games. Here's the question. Can Miami stop the run in early downs and force Mendoza to throw when Miami wants them to throw, as opposed to Indiana staying ahead of the sticks and throwing when they want to throw. Styles create fights. Both of these teams want to play the exact same way, but I got to tell you, Miami's got the talent edge. Now, we talked about, Alabama's got more 4 and 5 stars. Ohio State's got more talent than Indiana. But Indiana here is looking in the mirror at themselves when they see Miami, but they're bigger, stronger, and faster. That doesn't mean Miami's going to win, but like I said, styles create fights. And usually when you take a rugged, tough team that plays at the line of scrimmage against a team that likes to play in space, I'll take that line of scrimmage team every day of the week. But here we have two teams that are really good at the line of scrimmage, and one's a little bit bigger and a little bit, it's been well documented how much bigger Miami's offensive line is than Indiana's defensive line. So if Miami can lean on that defensive line for Indiana and just do the same thing they did against Ohio State, move the sticks, keep the pace of play the way they want it, keep the game manageable like they want it, Miami's going to win this game. If Indiana can run the football and stay ahead of the sticks and throw when they want to throw it, they're going to have a really good shot to win this game. Now, the one thing I will say about, and this is probably wrong, I probably shouldn't even bring this up, but I'm going to because this is just all the information that we have to go by, what we've seen, is that Ohio State, when they played Indiana, I really felt like watching the two teams that Ohio State was the better team overall. But Indiana didn't make the mistakes. They just hung in there, and they won the game at the end. When Miami played Ohio State, I felt from the first snap of the game that Miami was physically bigger, faster, stronger across the board, almost at every position, as opposed to Ohio State. When I take that in consideration, I have to take Miami because I've seen these teams play each other. But with that, the question is, can Miami thread the needle? Because every game they've been in has been incredibly tight because of the style that they play. The style of football they play is going to lend itself to always being a tight game. So if it is a tight game, give me Miami. But if Indiana can jump out to a lead and then Miami has to play catch up, no chance. I'm going to roll the dice here. I'm going to take Miami, and I mean no disrespect to Indiana, none whatsoever. I just look at these two teams that are built almost identical, want to do the exact same thing, and one team is bigger, faster, stronger. I'll take the team that's bigger, faster, stronger, and I'll trust that Carson Beck is going to take care of the football because he has almost the entire postseason. And I will also trust Miami to force Mendoza to throw and to throw on Miami's terms. If the script goes like that, Miami wins. If Indiana stays ahead of the sticks, throws when they want to, Indiana wins. I know I'm sitting on the fence right there when I say that because that could go either way.
Pick a side.
But I'll take Miami, and I'll take Miami incredibly close. And yes, we are going to sprinkle the money line. We're going to take the 8.5, and then we're going to sprinkle the money line, and we'll take the Canes.
Because right now I'm going to be Brant Feinbaum, and I'm going to say the Hoosiers are going to win this. Miami has no chance. No chance Miami has. Hoosiers are going to run up and down the field on them. Indiana's going to win by 28. It's going to be 28 nothing. 28 nothing Indiana. They're going to run away, run all over the Hurricanes. All right. Now, what the Chad is going to say, I'm going to trust the quarterback who doesn't make mistakes. I'm going to take Mendoza and Indiana, and much like we said with Georgia, until somebody beats this team, how can you pick against the most efficient offense we've seen in, guys, I don't know how long.
Been a while.
They don't make mistakes. They don't jump off sides. They don't false start. It's crazy how perfect that they've been. Mm-hmm. Now, with that being said, it's hard to be perfect all year. Is this the game where they have a couple of those mental mistakes that cost them?
Well, I do want to add this is that people have already crowned them. I mean, in the media, they've already crowned them champions. So much to the extent that people are debating, is this the greatest college football team of all time? And I'm like, guys, they haven't won anything yet. They have to win it and they have to finish in order for that to happen. Because if not, they're just another really good team who didn't finish the job. You know what I mean? I mean,
I
if
agree.
you go back and look at like say 2019 LSU, I would say that's probably certainly the best team in the last 25, 26 years.
Second best team.
2020 Alabama was phenomenal too.
They played 10 conference games. It's not even close.
I know. They were phenomenal. One of those Florida teams that won it for Urban Meyer was amazing. That Miami team that won it in what, 02.
Yeah, that was.
Some say that may be as talent wise. I mean, dude,
Yeah.
they had three tailbacks: Clinton Portis,
Yep.
Willis McGahee, and
Was it Edgerrin James?
what? No, Edge was before
Edge?
that.
Okay.
But they had three tailbacks who were like on the same team that were like Pro Bowlers in the NFL at the same time.
Yeah. That whole defense
yeah.
is Pro Bowl NFL.
They had
that whole defense.
They had Jeremy Shockey. They had Reggie Wayne.
Mhm.
They had Santana Moss. I mean, that was one of the most loaded rosters. I believe Ed Reed was on that team.
Yes, he was.
Was
I mean,
wasn't Vince Wilfork on that team?
Wilfork,
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes.
dude, they were. I mean, how many Hall of Famers are on that team? Probably 5 or
Loaded.
6.
Yeah.
Loaded.
Yeah. Now,
That's the
Go ahead.
greatest college roster I've ever seen in my life. I
And,
mean,
and if Indiana wins this championship, there is no way I'm putting them in that class of that Miami team. But I will more than give them their due. I will come on here and I will give them their praises because they will have earned it for them to go through a gauntlet like that, to go undefeated, and to win a championship is pretty remarkable. Especially, but also too, the one thing I do want to say, and again, this is no slight to Indiana. Okay, this is just the reality of it, is they have the oldest roster in the history of college football. They have more 4th, 5th, and 6th-year players than anybody in the history of college football, which is a totally
more draw on Social Security.
Yeah, which is a totally unsustainable model. Eventually, the 6th-year stuff is going to be wiped out. I would imagine at some point. So I'm not questioning what Indiana did. I think it's brilliant. Actually, they took the system and they used it. And I do want to say this about, it's kind of segueing into the portal here, and people talked about, well, all we got to do is pay the players, and then that'll get rid of all the illegality that goes into college football. So I want to tell you a quick story. This will take about a minute, okay? I'm not going to give any names, okay? I'm gonna keep all identities concealed, okay? So back in my early coaching days, a local high school football coach told one of my coaches, okay, that and of course you know how people talk. So there was a local high school recruit, big recruit, big time recruit. And he went on a recruiting visit to SMU. And when he went to SMU, now keep in mind, this is the same SMU that got the death penalty. The 30 for 30, watch it, the Pony Excess, watch it, or was it Pony Express or Pony Excess, whatever it's called?
Pony Excess.
Pony Excess.
Yeah.
Okay, it's true. All that happened, okay? So he gets to his hotel room and he walks in there, and true to form, there's like a black duffel bag sitting on the bed, and he goes and opens the bag. There's about $30,000 in cash, $20,000 to $30,000, something in there. He opens the bag and looks in it, and he's like, "Dang, man, there's got to be $20,000, $30,000 in cash here." So he gets on the phone and he calls up his coach. He says, "Coach, what do I do, man?" He goes, "Don't worry about it. I'll get you more." Now, that's coming from a program that had already been given the death penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Everybody knows that there have been illegalities in college football. We always joke around, call them the $100 handshakes. kind of stuff under the table. We all know Eric Dickerson got a Camaro or Trans Am, whatever it was. And that stuff has gone on for a long time. And people said, well, all we got to do is make it all legal and none of that will take place anymore. Well, it's just like in the United States when the government got a great idea to ban alcohol. It's called prohibition. And all that did was give rise to Al Capone. So instead of creating one problem, getting rid of a problem, we created a monster that was enormous. And I think that's what's happened here with college football is now Pandora's box has been opened and basically it's Al Capone now. It's organized crime. It is poaching players. And if you need to know the seriousness of it and how rampant it is, just go look at all the stuff that's taken place between LSU and Ole Miss, and that stuff is not even close to being over. Now there was something that came out about leaking the new payroll, basically the payroll sheet of the new players coming in that was more than what the former players were leaking, and supposedly Lane Kiffin was in on that to get those players to get pissed off to want to leave so that he could get a bunch of them to come to LSU. So that's what this has created. It's basically created an organized system for poaching players, throwing money over the table and not even caring. And now the people that aren't even in the institutions basically control the portal. I mean, when you have these big money people coming in and buying quarterbacks for $5 and $6 million, I mean, you had this situation with Underwood last year. He was supposedly given $12 million by just a donor from Michigan. And so, rather than the NCAA saying, hey, this is the program we're going to institute, we're going to wait a year, we're going to get a structure, we're going to figure all this out and make it a way so that schools can compete. And we can kind of, I hate to use the word fair, but everybody has the opportunity to be a part of it and participate. But instead, they just said, nope, everybody gets paid, go. And it's just, it's crazy. I mean, the portal stuff is crazy. There has got to be, I mean, fine, if they want to get paid, fine, there's got to be some guardrails, there's got to be structure, there's got to be organization to it because, I mean, there's more illegality going on now than there was prior to all of this. I promise you. I promise you there is. I mean, granted, I'm not at these universities and I don't know, but now that, it's known. You can do whatever you want. There's no rules. There are zero rules. Have at it, boys. So
well then, with that being said, what's illegal?
Exactly. That's the whole thing. I mean, there is nothing anymore that is illegal. And if somebody is challenged on it, they'll just take it to court. And then a judge will probably come in and give a stay on it. And then it'll just sit there and sit there and sit there and nothing will happen. I mean, short of somebody poisoning somebody or shooting somebody, there probably is nothing, because all this stuff that is going on now, 5 years ago, was illegal. All of it. Hollywood Smothers enrolls at Alabama and then basically gets bought to go to Texas. I mean, I thought once a player enrolled in a program or enrolled at a school that he was there. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just old school. Maybe I'm just too old to understand what's going on. And how everything works. I mean, there's nothing now. I mean, you could just call players and just say, hey, we'll give you $100K if you enter the portal. Just enter the portal. We'll give you $100K. And it's nothing more than just trying to take away from other people's rosters. But also, I will tell you this, the current model that is in place is completely unsustainable. Completely. My South Alabama Jaguars just lost another 24 players. We cannot replace those players. These mid-majors cannot sustain what is going on. There's a lot of teams, either they're going to back out of the NCAA. I'm telling you guys, that sounds far-fetched. It also sounded far-fetched 5 years ago for players to get paid. Nothing is out of the realm of possibility anymore. So some of these smaller schools, they're going to start backing out, and they're going to play their own football, or they're just going to dissolve football. 2, 3, they're going to dissolve every other sport on campus, and then you're going to have a Title IX mess. And the whole thing just seems like it's about to implode.
Yep, I agree.
It's just, it's so frustrating. You say, well, school X got this, got this recruit, and then turns around school Y, like you're talking about with Smothers, after the kid's done it. I mean, at what point is enough on some of this stuff? Scott, you want to get in on any of this?
Now, I'm sitting here thinking about, during the week, guys, we have a team chat, and Chad's really good about sending over people that's committed. Chad does a real good job at keeping us posted on who's been the recent commit to Alabama. And
he's our resident statistician.
He is, man. He's amazing at that, Chad. Chad, don't stop doing that either. But like every time I see it, I just kind of roll my eyes and I smile and go, okay, we'll see come August. I say it every single time I see it. Oh, we'll see come August, because I'm telling you, I've said it on every show for the last 2 weeks. I mean, the Smothers thing burned me.
Not just you, big guy. It burned everybody.
Yeah.
Now we get an announcement and we wait with bated breath. We're sitting there going, but is he going to come to campus? Because we're not the only ones this has ever happened to. I mean, guys, when the portal first opened, Brendan Sorsby was projected 100% by 247, and I'm not dogging 247. I mean, they can only go with the information they're given. They had Sorsby going to LSU. Sorsby is at Texas Tech, and now Sam Levitt's at LSU.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I mean, it's a roll of the dice, because anything can happen.
Yeah,
anything can happen. Nothing is finalized. There's, and I said it on the last show, all these contracts are like hearts. They're meant to be broken, because these players are not school employees.
No.
Now, because if you want them to get paid by the school, now they're employees, and that creates a whole nother gamut of issues.
Yeah.
So it's like none of this was thought through. And look, I'm a capitalist. Make all that money. Make it. Use your talents, use your intellectual properties, whatever it is, make as much money as you can. But at the same time, they're saying in college sports, the college players are so mistreated because they're not getting paid. I was a walk-on. I didn't get any scholarship money. I was appreciative of the opportunity to get a chance to play. And there's a lot of players who have done that. And there are players who have done that and gone on to become All-Americans and gone on to play professional football and professional baseball and so on and so forth. But the thing with all of this is that these players, they want for nothing. They're treated like kings. Their scholarships come to about, I don't know, probably $100,000 a year. By the time, which is more than a lot of them are making in NIL money. So by the time you take in the tuition, and it's in some of these schools, I mean, you take your Northwesterns, your Vanderbilts, your Stanfords, where the tuition is $50,000, $75,000 a year, their scholarship is worth even more. So by the time you take all the scholarship money, but they pay their tuition, books, fees, dorm room, which they got the nicest dorms on campus, their meals, all the sports science, all the workout equipment, everything they get. A lot of these big schools like Alabama and schools in the SEC and Big Ten, they have schools set up just for athletes so they can attend those classes, and it doesn't interfere with practice times. I mean, you have access to the best of everything: the sports science, the medical facilities, the doctors, the trainers, and it comes out to well over $100,000 a year. Also, and a lot of people don't know this, it's in their scholarship, all these players were given stipends. At some schools, it might be like $1,000 a semester, and you say, well, that's not much. You're right, it's not. But everything's paid for. You want for nothing. You don't have to buy a thing on campus your entire time. Everything is paid for. And some schools, even bigger schools, would pay as much to up to $2,500 a semester. So, yes, they got paid. Probably, I would even argue that some of that stipend money is probably more than a lot of these guys are getting paid in NIL right now anyway. But, you know, I can sit here if the players didn't have those benefits, if they didn't have the benefits and access to everything that they have access to, then I could say, heck yeah, they should for sure be getting paid. But it's not as if these guys it's not like we're Bear Bryant and Texas A&M and we're going down to Junction City to an empty field where it hadn't rained in 6 months and nobody's got any water. I mean, that's the impression that people get when these players go to practice. But I mean, they have multiple fields they practice on. They have indoors they practiced in that are a lot of them are climate controlled. I mean, these guys they have the best of everything. You know, I understand the players getting paid. Don't get me wrong, but to make the argument that players are mistreated or they're being used or anything like that is totally bogus. Then on top of that, the schools, when they get the bowl money and everything they get, every time you turn on a television to watch a game, look at all the construction going on the campus. Look at all the renovations going on to the football stadium. Look at all the renovations going on to the locker room and so on and so forth. I mean, it's not like they're taking the money and putting it in their pocket. They're putting it back not only into the university, but mostly into the football programs. Mm-hmm. You know, and also too, about a million years ago when I was working with the baseball team at South Alabama, we went down and played Florida State on a Tuesday. We played Florida State on a Tuesday, played Florida A&M on a Wednesday, and then I was talking to their clubhouse guy and everything, and he said, yeah, he said, man, if it wasn't for football, we wouldn't have any of this nice stuff. So not only that, I mean, football is helping to fund a lot of the other programs on campus. I mean, other athletes are getting a piece of it too, and I would also argue that's why you have the lesser sports that you have that are still funded by the schools. I mean, like golf, diving and swimming, track and field. They have no revenue whatsoever. They make no money. They generate no money. It's got to come from somewhere.
You forgot hockey.
Yeah, true that. Bama does have a hockey team.
Speaking of which, Bama's hockey team got a big win over Oregon last night. I bet nobody knew that.
Sweet. Well, we saw them taking the ice last night, but anyway, I didn't want to. I'm sorry I took so much time on that, but I just think some of that needs to be said because I mean, some of these people act like these players are like in the. Okay, I'm a big movie buff. Okay, Rambo Part 3. So when the general goes to get Rambo for his next mission, he's in that prison facility. He's basically on a chain gang breaking rocks all day. You know, that's like the impression that people get. That's what college football is like. And it's nothing like that. Yes, it's a lot of hard work. George Teague, I was listening to him on Facebook the other night. He had one of the best just talking about that, just talking about the sacrifice, the commitment, the hard work, the stick-to-itiveness, the building the relationships. And none of that is of value anymore. The only thing is of value, if I don't get my way, I'll leave. Darian Mensah started at Tulane, going to Duke. Guess where he's going next year? Miami. 3 teams in 3 years. Now, I find that hard to believe that you're building many relationships and doing any of those things when you're just hopping from team to team to team. I have such a problem with that. Like again, I don't have a problem with the players getting paid, but it's like if you're going to get paid, you're going to stay. Period. You can't just go and hop around and jump in the portal and try to get more money. And Steve Sarkisian said it best: if you get in the portal, go. You ain't coming back. We're not playing that game. You better make sure if you want to leave. And here's the thing, guys: 30% of college football is in the portal. You know how many players are going to be unsigned? You know how many players are going to go away and you're never going to hear their names again? They have just screwed their entire college football career chasing a little bit of coin and not looking at the long term of what that degree is going to do from that university to set them up for the rest of their lives, which is far more than any kind of amount of money. I know a guy that's playing at a major school right now, and his money he's making before taxes, it's like $5,000 or $6,000 a month. That's pretty good. But my question is how much of that are you putting something away with that you can help get your future started, because you're not going pro. I mean, I know the guy, he's not playing professional football. I know that. He's in a good place. He's doing a lot of good stuff, but he's not playing professional football. So, it's just stuff like that, man. I just think that NIL, it's just like travel baseball. It's just like cheer. It's another way for adults to take advantage of young people and to use them to make money for themselves. And that's what pisses me off about it the most, is because nobody cares about the well-being of these kids and these young people, and they're listening to, and the wrong people get in their ear, and then they get sucked dry, and then they have nothing left. And then they just go on to the next person.
That sounded like an I Can't Stand It segment. I guess we got that one done early.
Damn right, that was I Can't Stand It.
But all right, Mob. So here's a couple of questions for you, Mob. One, who's going to win tomorrow night? Miami, Indiana. Let us know. Who do you think's going to win? And let us know why you think they're going to win. Secondly, all this NIL and team jumping, do you like it? If you do, let us know why. And if you don't, let us know why. I think Bo went over every reason. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why it's wrong. There's more wrong reasons than there is right reasons. I think we can all agree on that. And third, the season's coming to an end, but Mob, we're still going to be grinding every week. We're going to have numerous topics we're going to talk about. Bo came up with a ton of good subjects and some fun shows we're going to have. So I'm not going to divulge any of that. I want y'all to tune in. And also in the comments, let us know what you want us to talk about. I mean, this show's pretty much for y'all. We love interacting with you. We love your comments, good or bad. We enjoy the bad ones just as much as the good ones. But let's shift gears here for a minute. Since we kind of got into the transfer portal, Alabama had a big weekend with transfers. I got them written down because I can't remember them, and I don't even know I'm be able to pronounce some of their names. So bear with me.
It's like Fast and Furious. I mean, if you blink, if you blink, you'll miss 20 transactions in the portal. So
and these are the 5 most recents. They got an edge rusher from South Carolina, Desmond Yemiozula. He's a dog from what I've read. Micaiah Bayer, linebacker out of North Carolina. You got Ethan Fields, offensive lineman from Ole Miss. And everybody dogging the offensive line. Alabama has just exploded.
And by the way, that offensive lineman from Ole Miss hadn't got a ton of reps, but Tennessee was on him big. Tennessee made, from what I understand, Tennessee was after him hot and heavy and made him a good offer. And he still chose to come to Alabama. So a very sought after young lineman.
Yeah, and then I think the biggest one of the weekend was the defensive tackle out of Oregon, Terrence Green. Very good inside talent on the defensive line. He committed yesterday. And then this is the one that'll aggravate me when people hear it, his name and where he's from, because just because they come from a small school don't mean they ain't any good. Sometimes you need a guy like that on your team that helps kind of push other guys. And it was Racine Delgatti, center from Cal Poly of all places. And I think Delgatti will help us win a Del Natty. So, yeah. So, sometimes you need those guys. Yeah, sometimes you need those mid-major guys to come in there, and that's the type of guy that's going to come in and outwork everybody else because he hasn't been given everything.
Well, I mean, just think about it. I mean, where did Trinidad Chambliss come from? Ferris State.
Yeah.
I mean, Jake Reed. We were talking about this last night. Jake Reed, he probably one of the more underrated receivers in pro football probably history. Played for the Vikings. He was on the other side of Chris Carter. You know, Chris Carter, all he does is catch touchdowns. So nobody talked about Jake Reed. All he did was catch 80 to 100 passes a year, every year. That's all he did. You know. There's a lot of great players. Doug Williams went to Grambling, won a Super Bowl. There's so many players in the NFL that played at small schools, Division II, Division III, SWAC, MEAC schools, and there's some players that they develop late. You know, they're late bloomers. Maybe they didn't play at a very high profile program in high school, and they weren't seen very much. It happens, guys. It happens all the time. Just like, matter of fact, one of my kids that played for me, I just read yesterday where he signed at BYU. So, I mean, he signed with Kennesaw State and stayed there, and then now he's going to BYU, much more high profile program. So, good for him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, Bro Deucer, you got anything? You got an I can't stand it?
I don't have an I can't stand it. Not this week, but just reiterating what everybody's talking about with the portal. We're at the beginning of this thing, and as much as I want to get frustrated and pissed off about it, I'd like to believe that changes are coming. I do. I just refuse to think otherwise. I mean, this is just it can't stay the way it is. We know that. So I have hope that they're going to get this fixed. Will it be this year? Probably not. But I got to believe, but maybe this time next year, they're at least discussing what needs to be changed, and we start seeing changes. Because if it just continues to stay the way it is, then guys, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, what are we going to be doing? Like, really?
Well, it's an unsustainable model. I mean,
right.
People are just coming out of nowhere and just throwing cash left and right. And eventually they're going to get tired of throwing cash left and right. What kind of return are they getting on their investment? What are they getting out of it?
Right.
Now, in the short term, I'm sure there's an adrenaline rush. Hey, we're getting to do something we've never done. And then you've thrown $5 million here, $6 million here, $4 million here, $5 million here, and you still can't get out of the first round of the playoffs. At some point, I'm just going to say, guys, I enjoyed it, but I gave you $20 million and you couldn't win a championship. Have fun.
And I also look at it from an NFL perspective, next level. This is going to hurt that product as well down the road. I mean, with these kids getting, all this money and pretty much, whatever they want, it doesn't really give them that incentive towards, because everybody was working hard at this level to make the money in the NFL. Well, if you're already getting all that money, why the hell do you want to push to go to the NFL? Some of these kids are making better money than the rookies for sure. You got to work out that rookie contract before you get the big deal. That's a 3 to 4 year wait you're having to wait on to bust your tail to get that big money contract in the second contract.
Well, Bro Deucer, think about this, Scott. Mendoza's probably going to be the first pick. I think the max he could sign for is, was it 25 or 30 million, being the number one overall pick or something like that. And I'm sure it's all going to be guaranteed, and it's going to be like a 4-year deal or a 5-year deal. And Ty Simpson was just offered like $6.5 million by Miami to play one season. So Ty Simpson would theoretically make more money playing his final year in college at Miami than Fernando Mendoza would make, even though that money's guaranteed. If you do it by the numbers, if you do it by the years, that he will make more money than Mendoza his first year.
So where have we gone to when a guy goes to the NFL and takes a pay cut?
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's going to hurt
We
the
used to-
product. It's
We
going to
used
hurt.
to joke around about that about Tennessee, that players didn't want to ever leave Tennessee because they were having to take a pay cut. That was just a joke because we don't like Tennessee. They some snitches.
It's that throw up orange
It's that throw up orange.
inside of.
But in all seriousness, I mean, that's what's going on, and nobody's even hiding it. I mean, it's all out in the open. It's all over social media. I mean, they're throwing money and car keys over the table now. They're not even. I mean, it's again, there's no rules. It's the Wild Wild West. It's whoever's got the most cash and whoever can deliver. And I'm just telling you, a lot of these guys are going to be burned by it. And I was, again, telling my age, I watched one time the behind the music of Vanilla Ice, and when he was in his heyday and he was going around and he was making all that money touring on one song, and then all that stuff started coming out about it. It was all a gimmick, and he was fake. He wasn't. He graduated from Miami, which, if you know anything about Miami, it's a private school. It's very expensive to go to school there. It's one of the top law schools in the country. Very expensive place to go to school. And then all that stuff started coming out, and then all of a sudden, all the money dried up, all the fame and fortune dried up, and Vanilla Ice was telling the story about how he was having this big party at his house, and then all that stuff was coming out, and he had gotten so intoxicated, of course, he passed out, and he woke up. And when he woke up, he was passed out in his living room. And he was staring at the ceiling, and nobody was there. And he said that was just a microcosm of what was going to happen. That as soon as the money stopped, everybody left. And that's so many of these young people are going to find out about that. They're going to get the Vanilla Ice treatment. That when they no longer can make these adults money, and people can no longer mooch off them, and they didn't bother to stick around in any one place long enough to get a degree. That's what I worry about for these young guys, that they're being, people were talking about before they got paid, they were being taken advantage of so badly. They're getting taken advantage of even more so now. And the thing of it is now all you got to do is go to a social media site and post agent by your name, and you don't even have to be a certified agent, because these contracts are like Fugazi. I mean, you can just do, they're fake. There's no such thing. You just do whatever you want. Just take the money and just pull Steve Miller, take the money and run.
But Scott, I want to go back to your point of talking about that the NCAA needs to fix this. I just don't see him having a backbone and fixing it.
They won't.
I wouldn't be surprised if this didn't go to Congress. This will go to Congress to get fixed before the NCAA fixes it.
It's in Congress right now as we speak.
Okay. Yeah. See, the NCAA can't even fix their own problems.
Yeah, there was a what was it called? There was a bill that was passed that said that the schools could now pay their athletes up to $20 million. And there were some stipulations there, but then of course immediately it got what do you call it? I guess sued or countersued or whatever it is, because you have your whole Title IX issue and small sports issue and who gets what. So that thing will be locked up in court for at least another 2 to 5 years.
Yeah. So
and keep your ears open, because something like that may very well in the next 2 or 3 years end up in the Supreme Court.
Probably so. I mean, it's like, good Lord, how can you just create, problem upon problem, and you can't even fix it yourself?
Well,
I mean,
for the NCAA to try to go to Congress to get Congress to fix, I'm not going to get political on the show, but to ask the people in Congress to fix something, give me a break. Congress has got like a 15% approval rating. That's all you need to know. I wouldn't ask them for a sucker, let alone to fix a major issue like that.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy that you're going to ask a more, I don't want to say corrupt, but a worse off organization to fix a not so worse off organization. So I mean, it's like, yeah.
It's like you're asking the drug dealers to put the alcohol sellers out of business.
Yeah. Yeah. Or the farm.
Using
Yes.
my prohibition analogy earlier is where
Yeah.
I'm going with that.
Drug dealers. We need you to take care of the pharmacy for us or something.
Right,
I mean, I
right,
don't know.
right.
It's just all
crazy.
crazy to me. All right. Any final thoughts, Bro-Deucer? Final thoughts before we go?
No, just I'm excited about this game tomorrow night, man. We want good quality college football, and I think we're gonna get it. I really do. I think this is gonna be a great game, and I'm excited about it. I think, we've watched both of these teams. We picked against both of these teams a lot. So to have them both here, I know I picked Indiana to win by 2 touchdowns, but again, I'm not gonna be shocked if Miami wins either. Like I said, they've had a really good playoff run. Look really strong here late, and main thing is I just want to see Michael Irvin pouting on the sideline. I mean, that's what I'm pulling for tomorrow night.
Why?
That's what I want to
Why?
see. Yeah,
Why?
yeah, because the Cowboys suck. That's why.
There you go.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know exactly where you were driving that. Bo, final thought.
Yeah, just it's hard to believe that another college football season is about to end. But just because the game's in, the content doesn't end, boys and girls. We will be here. We will be here year round. We will be here to answer your questions, guys. Send us anything. I love talking X's and O's, schemes, questions about why certain teams cover a certain way, or why do they use these coverages in these type of situations. I just love talking football. Man, if anybody has anything, please hit us up, and we'll if I don't see him, I know the Bro-Deucer will see him, and he'll get the information to the proper place, and we can all sit down and talk about it. But love talking football. I especially love talking from the coach's point of view, because I feel like my background as a coach, I'm not saying makes me smarter than anybody else, but gives me a different insight and a different way to look at things, as opposed to a lot of people. So love to hear from you guys.
And also, what my little final thought is, guys, this is a college, even though it's college football, if you want to do a little bit of college basketball here in the next couple of months, because the tournament will be kind of going on. I personally absolutely love basketball. Hit us up with some college basketball. Who do you think is going to win the tournament? I know it's early. I know Michigan's looking damn good this year, but that's for another show. So, guys, with that, for the Bro-Deucer and the Coach Bo, I am the Chad. We will see you next time.